It's been nearly 6 months since The Last of Us season finale aired. We're only getting round to reviewing it now, and that pretty much tells you all you need to know about what we thought of The Last of Us. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Entertainment. It is time, finally, after a long wait. Episode 3 was called Long Time. Well, this was a long time for us to review it, but finally we're going to get here. Episode 9, Season 1, Look for the Light was the name of it. It did, I believe, draw the highest rating overall for The Last of Us. It came in at approximately around an 8.2 million. Although it is hard now with HBO these days. They've got the HBO Max, and sometimes with shows it is difficult with cable not being the only way to watch it. So, but they reckon combined it's 8.4 million, which is pretty good, I guess.
It is pretty good, but I guess some of those numbers could be bogus. Like, if you have a subscription, I wouldn't be surprised half of these companies just add the numbers on. But you didn't need to remind me, episode 3. That episode scarred me for life, big man.
And again, like I said, episode 3 wasn't, I don't think it was that bad as a standalone episode, but in terms of the actual story, it offered nothing. And yeah, no, and it actually took away one of the best parts of the game, so I can't forgive episode 3 for that. But anyway, we're here to talk about episode 9. The shortest episode of the entire series as well. Don't quite know why that was the case. The whole pacing of this show was just wrong from the get-go. And when you give us 42 minutes to basically tell the entire ending of this story, when they reach the hospital, by the time Joel saves Ellie, by the time they escape, and then they're adding in flashbacks as well, which weren't in the game. By the time you add all that in, and you squeeze that into 42 minutes, it's not enough time to tell the story. It truly ain't. Don't know if I said story there, but whatever. Story. I'm going to stand by it. So we kick off the episode with a flashback. Got Ellie's mother, Anna. She is running away. She's trying to get away from the infected. She goes into this house. She locks herself in a room, but the infected bursts through. At this point, she manages to stab it, but it's already bitter, so
good night.
Unlucky. And while she's doing this, she gives birth to Ellie. We then see Marlene running in. Marlene finds Anna. She sees the bite. She knows Anna has to get put down because she'll turn, and I think she's going to put down Ellie as well, but Anna promises that she gave birth first before she was bitten, and Marlene believes her. Anna says that her last request is that Marlene takes Ellie and looks after her, and I guess that's what she does, and then Marlene puts down Anna. So it was cool to see Ellie's mum. I'm not denying that. I don't think this scene was bad, but again, it's like when you're running out of time, you're only 42 minutes.
It was played by the actress who played Ellie, wasn't it?
It was. I thought it was okay. I enjoyed it.
It served a purpose. I've no real complaints about it.
Yeah, we then cut to Joel and Ellie. Joel was telling Ellie, they're talking about when Joel missed, the only time he's missed taking a shot. Joel reveals that only time was when he attempted suicide after Sarah's death. So, there you go, Joel. We thought he was pretty weak this entire series. Now he's admitted that he attempted to kill himself. We then get the Firefly soldiers ambush Ellie and Joel. They simply throw a smoke grenade. Solid snake. A snake grenade. They throw a smoke grenade.
There's a snake in my boat.
And then they knock out Joel and they capture them.
How weak does Joel have to look in this show? I feel like it's every other episode he's made to look like a very weak. Now he's sitting joking and not even like paying attention. Like, you're going into enemy territory here.
Yeah, I mean, we did get to see the giraffe scene, which is cool and all that, I guess.
But a real giraffe.
But at the end of the day, it's literally just a giraffe. I'm not going to shit my pants over seeing a giraffe. But
yeah, some nerds out there, man.
I liked the giraffe scene, and if the episode was great and you threw in the giraffe scene to give you what the game gave you, then great. But I'm not going to say this episode was fantastic just because they included the giraffe scene.
Yeah, like, you drag out a giraffe scene, but all the actions, like a click of the fingers, done.
Now, when they were actually trying to get to the hospital in the game, they had to go through this tunnel that was not only infested with infected, but it was like also completely waterlogged. And then you get the whole drama where they're in the bus, and then the bus like starts giving way, and they get trapped inside the bus, and Ellie almost drowns, and Joe has to pull her out of the water and trying to save her. And they cut that entire process out. Didn't see any of that. Didn't even get a single infected in this episode.
Yeah, for a show it's about zombies, you'd expect infected.
I mean, we barely got any infected. Was there any infected in episode 8? I'm trying to think, and I honestly, it's escaping me. If there was,
there's been a severe lack of it.
Yeah, the lack of infected really did suck. But when you look at how many infected were under that, and I know the game isn't going to be exactly the same as the TV series, but I mean that was like the last big final bit of action in the game before you get to the hospital, and I don't know, for them to just completely cut that out. It's not, even if they didn't want to go down the infected route. I like the way that they were trapped in the bus and Ellie almost drowned. I mean, I like that. Could they not have included that in the series?
And then when Joel saves her, they could get caught.
Well, that's what happens. Joel's giving her he's pumping the chest. He's pumping the water out the chest.
That is better than Joel looking like a weak ass bitch with a smoke grenade.
Yeah, and while Joel's doing it, they just come up and like pistol whip him with the rifle or whatever, rifle whip him. But in the TV series, it's literally Joel's walking with Ellie. He sees a smoke grenade, and that's it.
I wonder where that is, Ellie.
Just very, very cheap. Joel awakens in the hospital. Marlene explains that the doctors are preparing Ellie for surgery in hope of developing a cure. Joel realises that he thought that this grew in the brain. Marlene confirms that it's true. Joel realises, well, this is it then. If they're going to operate, if they're going to do surgery, then that means Ellie will die. Joel says, look, find somebody else. Marlene says, no, this has to happen. Then Marlene plays some sort of, I've known her longer than you. This is going to hurt me a lot more than it hurts you. And is it really? Because, I mean,
that logic's irrelevant, man.
Because Joel's the one that's not wanting it to happen, yet Marlene is. Now, I know you could say sometimes you've got to make the big sacrifice, but I refuse to believe that Marlene is closer to Ellie. Now, maybe in the TV series it doesn't tell you that, it doesn't do that good a job, but look at everything, look at the near life and death experiences that Joel and Ellie's been through, right? Time doesn't mean shit. You knowing someone for like 14 years doesn't really matter if you're not that close. Joel and Ellie have spent the better part of a year, side by side, alone.
Surviving.
So they're going to be a hell of a lot closer than Marlene and Ellie ever would be.
No, exactly.
But Marlene puts time into it or whatever. She orders.
She's just trying to opt out with her own wee reasons. I see another point, right? If she's at this hospital, what was the big deal about here, Joel? You're the only guy who can do this mission. Is that not another plot hole? I know it happens in the game as well, but
I think she just trusted Joel to be able to smuggle her across the city and across basically America.
She made it too, though. Come on.
Yeah.
Then Joel wouldn't have got attached and she could have played the card. Well, Joel wouldn't have been there to play the card, but she could have it was me all along. 14 years, best buddies with Ellie.
Well, in the last scene, Marlene, she was banged up. She wasn't in good shape, let's be honest. She was shot, bleeding out.
Well, look at the shit Joel and Ellie went through.
True, but when she asked
to watch a gay porno.
When she first asked Joel to do it, Joel was in good shape, considering. She orders Joel to be taken away, but Joel manages to kill the Firefly. A couple of Fireflies are taking him away. Joel manages to kill them. Then he takes her gun, and what we get after this is like a weird, 1 minute montage, slow-mo montage, where it's just Joel in slow motion
killing all these people.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, was there even audio? I'm pretty sure it was mute.
I think it was mute. And my problem with this is, I mean, with this entire season, Joel has looked really weak. He's struggled. He's done well to win one-on-ones. Yet, at this point of the show, when he's weak, when he's just been knocked out, he's just reawakened. You know, the guy can't be in great shape. All of a sudden, he takes out like an entire, army here, an entire unit of the Firefly soldiers, and it's like, so this is a guy that one-on-one for the majority of the season was weak, and he was taking panic attacks, and he was getting out-muscled, and Ellie had to save him, blah, blah, blah. And now he just basically eliminates everyone. He kills the doctor, takes Ellie down the elevator. We then see them leaving in the back seat. She wakes up. She asks Joel what happened. Joel says that turns out there's lots of people like Ellie and that they can't get a cure, but they're still looking, but they don't really need Ellie because loads of people are immune or whatever. But then it shows you Joel leaving, where he got confronted by Marlene. Marlene says, look, we can still undo this. We can still fix this. Could they really fix it at this point, though? Because Joel has pretty much killed most of her team, and he's killed the surgeon. I can't imagine brain surgeons grow on trees.
No, they
might have nurses or whatever. Maybe they've got another doctor in there, but how many brain surgeons does Marlene have in that building?
Exactly.
You know, I'm going to guess that was the only one she had. So, I mean, Joel at this point could have gave Ellie up, I guess, but would they have had the, you know, the medical team, would they have had the personnel to attempt this surgery?
We can make it right, Joel.
But Joel makes it right by shooting Marlene. He then puts Ellie in the car, the truck. He comes back over to Marlene. Marlene's like, please, Joel, don't kill me. But Joel says, nah, you'll only come looking for her. Bang. Shoots Marlene, kills her. I mean, I don't really blame Joel for this kill. It was kind of Marlene or him and Ellie, so I guess he had to make this choice. If he doesn't kill Marlene, Ellie's going to die anyway, so... And I don't think Marlene would let Joe leave this time after what Joel done previously, so... And to me, if he surrenders to Marlene here, him and Ellie are both dead, so I can't understand why he done it. They then see them trying to get back to Tommy's. They're going through the woods. This bit was really similar to the game. Joel's like, you know, you would have liked Sarah. She was a bit more feminine like you, but, you know, I know you would have got along because you're nice and she's nice, blah, blah, blah. And then Ellie asked Joel to promise that everything he said about the Fireflies was true. Joel says, I swear. And then she says, okay. And that was the end of the episode. Look, I mean, it did do a lot right in the game. I mean, it did copy it, it did mirror the game in quite a lot of the parts, but it wasn't enough. I felt like the parts where it cut out were really important in some of the most fun parts of the game. So, and it just wasn't long enough. By the time you get to this episode, you don't feel the connection that you feel in the game. I never really felt like Joel and Ellie were that close. I mean, by the time we get into episode 7, the connection's not there. And then they don't really meet up again because the episode 7 was a flashback. Basically, episode 7 and 8, you don't get much of... The only time they really interact is when Joel hugs her at the end of episode 8. So, episode 7 and 8, we basically missed out on any sort of interaction because Joel in 8 was too busy. Well, and 7, I guess, a little bit was too busy lying there dying. And then we got the flashback in 7, and then we got Ellie, you know, trying to get the medicine or whatever to save Joel. So, I just didn't really see it. This whole Joel running through the hospital, taking everybody out to save Ellie on this madman mission, I just didn't really see.
The problem is, though, you're going to have people watching this who've never played the game and think there's nothing wrong with it. But if you've played the game, you can critique it.
I think you can actually spin it. I think you could actually say if you didn't play the game, though, you'd be like, if you don't feel the connection, you can spin
it both ways.
Because if you don't, at least if you played the game, you can understand where the connection's from. You can be, well, I understand why Joel and Ellie are so close, but I don't think the TV series did a good job of portraying it. Whereas if you didn't play the game, you might just be thinking, you know, why are these two so close? Because, I mean, in the end of episode 6, like, I mean, Joel was willing to leave her behind.
Yeah, I know.
And then he changed his mind. And it's like, we went from that to all of a sudden them being unbreakable, you know, this bond being so fucking tight.
Yeah, in this episode, she's like, our time heals all things. He's like, it wasn't time. Obviously referring it was her.
Yeah.
Again, that's why the game's better, man. It's a lot more ours. You're playing it. You're right. It's just forced. It's like, here, with 9 episodes, oh fuck, we've dedicated too much time to Brokeback Mountain and other shite that we don't need.
And a lot of people will say, well, a lot of the game is just like fighting scenes or just walking around the city, walking around the forest, walking around the different locations, and you can't put that in a game because it'll be boring. But I disagree, because most of the time there was always dialogue between the two, and there was and dialogue is a form of interaction, so they were always bonding. Even while you were getting from point A to point B, the dialogue was always there, therefore the characters were always getting to know each other more, and they were always bonding and getting closer, whereas you just did not get that in the TV series. So yeah, and overall I don't think it was a horrible season by any means, but it didn't blow me away. After the first 2 episodes I thought we were getting something special. I realised probably, I don't know, after episode 4, I thought,
10
you know what?
seconds into episode 3, you realise, damn it, the dark side is here.
I'll put it this way, the show didn't do one thing better, in my opinion, than the game. Not one.
No.
The only thing I liked about episode 1 was they flashed out the characters a bit more, they added a bit more pre-apocalypse, which I felt was needed. And what I also liked was the intros for the first 2 episodes where they showed you like the talk show host talking about the heat and this bacteria, and then in episode 2 at the intro we had the doctor, I believe was it India. I liked that, but for some reason after 2 episodes they stopped doing that. So I don't know, I thought that was good. And I did like the prolonged period before the start of the outbreak and the opener, but if you look at all the moments that they did in comparison to the game, I mean, it all fucking sucked. They did not do one thing better in the TV series than they did in the game. And one of the scenes that really bored me was in episode 4, when Ellie saves Joel, and in the game, Joel's like getting drowned in like this puddle of water, and you see Joel, you see from his perspective, his point of view, he's under the water, being held under there, being drowned, being choked, and then like Ellie just shoots this guy, and then as soon as you hear the shot, then it shows you Ellie holding out the gun, and she says, "Oh, I shot the shit out of that guy," whereas in the TV series, you see Joel getting choked, and then from behind the camera, you just see Ellie getting slowly closer and closer and closer, about 15 seconds in advance, and then she shoots him. It's like, I thought the surprise was much better in the game, but here, could make a separate video, guys, breaking down all the big moments from the game and TV series. I'll give the finale a 5 out of 10. I mean, it wasn't shit, but
it's like the most cookie cutter version you could have gave of a finale.
Yeah, it was like
they ticked all the boxes, but the boxes were very thin.
Yeah, it's like they did the bare minimum. They copied the game for the most part, but it didn't blow me away.
Yeah, it was a rush job. That's what it was.
It's like, we've got 42 minutes to fit everything else into this last episode. Let's try our best. And you know what? This should have been more than a... I don't know, even if it's only a 9-episode season, I don't know why they need it to fit the entire full game into...
See, even when they're touching the giraffe in this episode, you would not have thought this was a finale if you didn't know it was a finale. You'd have thought there's no way they're wrapping this up in like 30 odd minutes here.
Although, when you look at the pacing of the rest, I think you maybe would have, because look at episode 8. I mean, that part of the game took a couple hours. They wrapped that up in one episode. The part with the brothers seemed to last forever in the game. They pretty much wrapped that up in one episode.
So one game arc, one episode arc.
Alright, you do get Tess a little bit at the end of episode 1, but I mean, they pretty much wrapped her up in one episode. It was like a one and done.
One and done for Tess.
Yeah, I'm giving it a 5 out of 10.
I'll give it a 6.
6. 5.5, guys, out of 10. Overall for the season, what are you giving it?
I'll give it a 6. I think a 6 is right on the money. It was pretty woke, but it was it's probably the... is it the best TV? Probably it's the best TV show this year, but I've not watched that much good stuff.
Yeah, it's better than From. I'll give you that. It's better than season 2 of From.
Better than Mayans.
After the first 2 episodes, I thought it was going to be great. I'm not going to lie. First 2 episodes had me...
It's not quite The Walking Dead there.
Yeah, no, the first 2 episodes, I'd say it was 9 out of 10. I'd give it 9 out of 10 after 2 episodes, but unfortunately we had the episode 3 a long time. It was the longest episode of the show. It just did not advance anything, and then you get to episode 4 and the whole thing just felt rushed because you were further on in the story than you should have been, but because we didn't get to see the main characters in episode 3, we just didn't really feel it. Honestly, when you watch episode 4, it feels like you've missed a couple of episodes.
Yeah.
If you compare it to the game, from when Tess dies, if you watch it, it feels like you do feel like you've missed.
Episode 3 was the longest episode, wasn't it?
Yeah, long time.
Longest episode, though?
Yeah, I just said that.
Yeah. I mean, what the fuck with the thing?
It was like an hour 20.
Why couldn't they do 40-40? And Joel and Ellie for 40 minutes, it was 2 for 40.
An hour 20, did it?
Instead, it was 75-5.
75-5?
Aye. 75 minutes of the Bum Boys and 5 minutes of Joel and Ellie.
I thought you were breaking up into percentage there. I was like, what? Anyway, guys, that's it. 5.5 out of 10. We will be doing ranking lists as well for this, so make sure you check them out. They'll be coming to the channel shortly. Probably will give season 2. You know what? I don't like starting shows and not finishing them, so I will check out season 2, but no promises that it'll get finished.
Promises, never had a doubt.
That's it, guys. Leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace.